All right, I got it all finished, and of course that half gallon of lacquer was not enough to spray all of this. So I ended up just cleaning out the finishing room, and every little can that had a little bit of this or a little bit of that, I sprayed on here. So I was able to spray all kinds of finishes: polyurethane, spar varnish, shellac, several different kinds of lacquer, several different kinds of conversion varnish. So it's all on here. Just about every finish you can imagine that you can spray through a spray gun is on this project. So we'll see which ones interact badly. If one of them peels off because it went over the top of something that may not have been compatible, who knows? But it's shop furniture, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money buying more finish that's just going to sit around. So let's get started assembling these, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my finishing experience with the different types of finishes. So first I got to go through each pile and remove all the blue tape. All right, so spraying all these finishes side by side, one right after the other, really allowed me to compare them, how they came out of the gun at a micro level. When I first got into spraying, I sprayed lacquer and thought, wow, this stuff is amazing. It's going to be my go-to finish. But at that point, I really had no frame of reference of what a conversion varnish was like to spray. And now that I've sprayed these one right after the other, I have to say that lacquer is totally at the bottom of my pile. It is going to be the last thing I reach for. It took the most time to finesse the gun, and while it did create a beautiful finish, on the micro level, it just wasn't as nice when dried as the rest of them. It also produced the most overspray and had the least amount of coverage. And really my biggest disappointment with the lacquer was the parts that I sprayed with lacquer scuffed easier when assembling them and hanging them on the wall, so it's just not as durable of a finish as the other ones. Next up, I'm going to lump these in as polys. I should also mention that I went through the same setup as I did in my previous finishing video to adjust the viscosity of finish to match each finish to the right tip. So I sprayed a wipe-on poly, a brush-on poly, and a few spar varnishes. All of these were easy to dial in the gun and left a beautifully smooth finish, and I liked how the oil soaked into the wood, making the grain pop and having the wood come to life much more than what the lacquer did. The lacquer just kind of looked dull. The wood didn't really come to life. It was very lifeless. These parts were not as susceptible as being scuffed during installation and assembly as the lacquer was. The biggest downside was the longer dry time, and because of the longer dry time, the overspray stuck to my arm hairs and was just gross. So it's probably not going to be something I would spray on a regular basis unless I want to be sticky. All right, now the last set of finishes I sprayed were the conversion varnishes, and these had an unfair advantage because it is the finish I sprayed the most, so there was no finessing of the gun. I know exactly where I like to have my gun set up for this finish. It did have the best coverage and less overspray than the rest. It has a very durable finish, so there's no scuffing when assembling and installing it. The downside to this finish is that the wood does not have as much life as the poly. When you put that oil poly on there, it really makes the grain pop. This does not do it as much, but it does bring out the color in the wood more so than a lacquer. And then there's no getting around the elephant in the room. The VOCs are terrible. This stuff just stinks. It has such a high VOC. I'm hoping that someday I will find another finish that sprays just as well as this, just as durable as this, makes the grain pop, and then has less VOCs. And I know a lot of you spray water-based finishes, but I feel like that just doesn't make the wood pop. It doesn't bring the wood to life. But if you have something that you spray that hits all those things, brings the wood to life, extremely durable, and lays down as good as this conversion varnish does, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And of course, I know this isn't as an exhaustive spray finishing test with all the different finishes out there, but this is just what I had in the shop, and shop furniture is a great project to use up all those weird finishes on. All right, so let's get these guys assembled. All right, so wood glue, I'm just using some standard Type Bond 2. All right, then I got my back piece, and I only finished one side, just the good side. right, so if this was a piece of furniture, I would probably find a slightly different way to reinforce this joint, something a little more decorative or a sliding dovetail or something along those lines. But since these are just shop cabinets, all right, before the glue sets up, we'll double check it for square here. All right, looks good. All right, we'll do the same for the rest of the cabinets. All right, so I got my French cleat milled down to fit inside this thing. It sits in there nice and snug. So we're gonna glue that guy in there. All right, and I'm gonna put a brad in here just to hold it in place through the side to give it some extra strength there. All right, and then whenever I cut the mating piece that goes on the wall, I cut it an inch short, so that way I have some lateral movement back and forth on the wall to slide it out tight, so that way everything fits tight and also easier to find the cleat and get it in the hole. And then also when I'm laying the cleat out on the wall, it's easy to measure because 1 inch is a nice round number, so it's easy to space them out appropriately. All right, got all the cabinets assembled and ready to be installed on the wall, but first we need to remove all this junk off the wall and of course remove all the junk that is down there against the wall so I have room to work. But I'm pretty happy with how they're coming along, and of course don't forget your cup of coffee there. That's an important safety feature in the shop to always stay woke. So apparently as my tool collection grew, I just added these random cleats using random screws. So I have some that are Phillips, and then I have a couple of Torx or star drives that are of various sizes. So I just, looks like I use whatever on hand. So now that I have completely destroyed the shop with all kinds of crap scattered everywhere, I need to find the 8 different bits I need to get those off the wall. I feel like it's a safety violation not to be able to open the ladder enough, but whatever. All right, so I got my router table here, which is going to sit underneath the cabinets. So I want to make sure I hang the cabinets up high enough that I can operate this without banging into that and that they're not in the way, but I'm not so high that I have to use the ladder every time I want to get a new tool down. So I got a little math to do here, and then we'll get started hanging up the cabinets. All right, so I got this electrical box here. That's where I'm going to start my cabinets because it's kind of a hard stop point that's hard to change if I wanted to put cabinets here. I know some of you are losing your minds because it doesn't have a cover, but don't worry. Once I figure out where I set that thing down at in here, I will replace it. But I'm putting this little spacer strip here just to give me a little space off of that so I do have room to replace the cover when I find it. And then I'm going to use that to butt my level to. Make sure I'm straight up and down. And then I'm just going to mark a plumb line here to follow to set my first cabinet. All right, so for my French cleat, just gonna measure down 3/4 of an inch, which is that halfway point there. Just mark me a line, and then I'm gonna put a screw here, here, then one in the middle, and we're gonna countersink that. All right, so I slid my router table back up to the wall. I got the first cabinet hung, and it looks good, but I think it's too much space, and I also can't reach the very top shelf very well at all. So I think I'm going to move it down just a couple of 3 inches. All right, I feel pretty happy with that. That seam between the two cabinets is perfect, no gaps. It's perfect across the top, perfect across the bottom. If only my kitchen cabinets from the factory were that nice. All right, and I'm gonna just clamp these guys together, and I'm gonna drive a headless trim screw right through the bottom here, bottom corner, pin them together. Put a little putty on there if I wanted to make it totally disappear, but since there's such a small little screw, it's pretty much gone. All right, so I'm measuring over the thickness of my wall and the fudge factor that I cut on my cleat. And so of course I'm going to use all the same type of screw this time. So if I ever need to move this, it'll be super easy. All right, and I know what you're thinking. I'm not finding any studs, and I'm not using any type of mollies or any hardware to put that screw into. It's just gonna pull out of the drywall. Well, this shop is what's called a SIPS construction. So there are structurally insulated panels, and behind that drywall is 7/16 OSB. So I can pretty much screw anything to the wall, any place I want without having to worry about it. All right, so I'm going to finish getting these cabinets hung up, and next time we'll start building the tool holders. So the saw tills, plane tills, chisel rack, adjustable shelves, all of that good stuff. We'll get that underway next time. Thanks for watching. Slight casualty, stepped on the dust collection hose, broke it off.